Good morning, middle school. Good morning, 7th grade. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I hope you all had a nice long weekend. That was a 5-day weekend, and the teachers enjoyed meeting with your parents during conferences. So let's begin with a few announcements. I have a few announcements for 8th grade students in particular. There are 2 test prep sessions this week. One will happen today, and the next session would be on Friday. Both test prep sessions will take place during PE, and Mr. Craig Miller will be meeting you in the library. So on behalf of the 8th grade and on my own personal behalf, I want to thank Mr. Miller for being so generous with his time and offering these test prep sessions for our students. Then on Saturday, our 8th graders will have their practice IC. Check-in time is 8 a.m., so you will meet me in the library at 8 o'clock. Just make sure that you get a good night's rest. Friday night is not the night for you to play video games until 2 o'clock in the morning. Get good sleep, and then also eat a good breakfast before you come to school, because you're going to need a lot of energy to get through that long practice IC. And this is exciting news for all middle school students. October 15th, this Friday, will be our first bake sale. So just bear that in mind as you plan for Friday. Are there any other announcements? Teachers? Great, wonderful. We have a very special speaker this morning. Ms. Morreen Rukin is with us, and she has served on the Montgomery School Board for the last 3 years, and she is currently the vice chair of the Board of Trustees. She is a leadership coach in her professional life, and she is also a very accomplished entrepreneur who has started 2 companies. She earned her bachelor's in business administration from New Hampshire University, and then she also holds a master's in education with a focus on instructional design from Penn State. Ms. Rukin believes in giving back through volunteering, and she has consistently been involved in quite a few not-for-profit organizations such as Alex's Lemonade Stand, American Cancer Society, and National MS Society. And she has been recognized for many awards, and she was named one of the Women of Distinction in 2007. She was recognized by Governor Randall as one of the top women business in Pennsylvania in 2009. Now, the role I'm sure she cherishes most is the role of being the mother to one of her own Montgomery School alums, Sydney Bales. Sydney graduated in 2018, correct? Sydney was my first class when I came to Montgomery School, and I have fond memories of Sydney at Montgomery, and I'm sure teachers who were here during that time know what an accomplished student she was, and she continues to be. She's a senior at STEM Academy in Downingtown, looking at colleges for next year. So, Ms. Rukin, we are glad you are here, and Sydney, we are equally delighted you are able to join us this morning. So please join me in welcoming Ms. Rukin to the stage.
I know you're happier to have my daughter here than me, but thank you, Mr. Rajaregam. I appreciate it very much. Good morning, Montgomery School. Nice to see you all this morning. How is everybody? You good? Does everybody have a lemon? Who does not have a lemon? Okay, Sydney, I'm going to ask that she's actually my worker today. So it's nice to be here with you all today. We're going to talk today about turning lemons into lemonade. Now, I know Mr. Rodriguez mentioned that we do a lot of work with Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation, but I look at lemons not just through that lens. I look at it through a couple other lenses, and I'm going to share that with you today. We're going to start today by, I want you to take your lemon and pretend it's real. Okay? And I want you to look at it, and I want you to take note of it, and I want you, as you're pretending that it's real, I want you to tell me, what does it look like? What do you see when you look at your lemon? This is interactive, so feel free to call some things out. It's yellow, right? Is it dull yellow or bright yellow? These ones are pretty bright, right? But when you go to the supermarket and you look at lemons, they're not all as bright. They kind of differ in color. Okay, what else do you see? What do you see? What's that? It's round, right? It has an oval, round shape to it. Terrific. What else? It has a stem, right? It has that, I call it the belly button. Now my daughter's embarrassed, but that's okay. I call it the little belly button of the lemon, the little green nub. Is it a little bumpy? Right? So it has little nooks and crannies in it. It's not so smooth. So what does it feel like to you when you're feeling the lemon? Can you feel those bumps and the ridges? Is it a little rubbery? Yeah? What does it smell like? Again, imagine for me that you have a real lemon in your hand and you go ahead and smell it. What does it smell like? Go ahead. It smells what? Zesty. Ooh, I love that word. That's a great word, zesty. Especially when you zest the lemons. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yep, it smells citrusy. Yep, flowery. Now imagine for me, this is the biggest imagination I'm going to ask you to do. When you taste a lemon, just a lemon, right, and you put it in your mouth, what happens? It's sour, right? Does it make you pucker up? It kind of makes your neck go all taut. It makes your mouth all cringy. I used to love when Sydney was a baby. I would cut up lemons and I would give them to her just so I could see the reaction because it was really funny. Right? But so imagine that. It leaves a sour taste in your mouth. What? Sorry about that. Didn't realize my slides are not forwarded. Okay. So now let's talk about that lemons aren't only a fruit. Okay? Lemons sometimes, when you get a car, and a car has a lot of problems, we call it a lemon. And when you have a bad day, or a bad week, or a bad moment, those can also be considered lemons. So I want you to share with me, when you think about middle school, right? Middle school is not always easy. What would you say the lemons are that you experience in middle school? Go ahead. Tests, right? Tests. Tests, lots of tests. Go ahead. Homework. Okay, homework, it's also a lemon. A bad grade on a test, right? You worked hard, you studied, and you didn't get the grade that you wanted. Terrific. Anybody over here? Give me a middle school lemon. Sydney, did you have any lemons in middle school? Okay, so taking the ICES test, that can be something. How about some of these? Do these ever happen to you? Maybe you have a fight with a friend, or you're just feeling like where do I fit in? Where's my place? Maybe your parents drive you crazy. Does anybody's parents drive them crazy ever? Don't raise your hand, Sydney. Yeah, sometimes I remember being in middle school, my parents drove me crazy a lot. Or maybe you don't get that grade on the test, or you don't make the team that you tried out for. Maybe you're nervous about high school and what will happen when you leave Montgomery School. Maybe COVID. Was COVID a lemon for anybody? Kind of, right? It kind of changed our worlds, very, very different than what we all anticipated. And so I see COVID as a lemon, but there were definitely some good surprises that came out of it, but it definitely had its challenges. So lemons, kind of like we talked about earlier, they can be small or they can be big. So it depends upon our perspective. Now, I was in middle school at one point, and I know it was a long, long time ago in comparison to where you all sit, and certainly in comparison to where my daughter sits. But I had some lemons of my own. Lemons, for me, were things like, I had 3 sisters, so I was the 3rd daughter in the family, and my 2 older sisters got straight A's, and I didn't. And so a lemon was often when I would come home with a B, and I was happy with my B. My parents would say, why can't you get grades like your sisters do? My family was starting a business at the time that I was in 5th and 6th grade. And so we didn't have a lot of money. And we didn't have a lot of money, certainly for 4 girls to go get haircuts. So I'm going to put up 2 pictures, and I'm okay if you laugh at them, because I'm okay with it now. But I will tell you, that's me in 6th grade and 7th grade. And my mom used to put tape across our bangs and cut our hair. And the kids made fun of me, especially in 6th grade. They called me Frankenstein Jr. And I can tell you, it bothered me, although I was the kind of person where I would laugh it off, pretend it didn't bother me. But one day in 6th grade, it got the best of me. And I left the classroom, and I went and sat in the girls' room, and I sat on the floor, and I cried. And my teacher came in at one point and sat on the floor next to me and said, you know, Morreen, I know that what the kids say is probably hurtful, but it's not who you are on the outside, it's who you are on the inside, and I know that you've got that going on. And I have never forgotten that. That's really kind of how I live my life, in that, you know what? It's not who I am here. It's not what I'm wearing. It's not my clothes. It's not the jewelry that I wear, but who am I inside? And that's always been a gauge. But you didn't laugh at my pictures. I'm kind of surprised. It's okay to laugh. I know they're pretty bad. So when we're faced with these moments of lemons, we have an opportunity. And we have a chance to say, I can either let this take me down and take me out, and I can let it get to me for a long time and have it fester, or we can turn this lemon into lemonade. Now, what do you know about lemonade different than a lemon? It's sweet, right? It's much sweeter than just putting that lemon wedge in your mouth, okay? It also can be cold, right? So it's refreshing and it feels good when you drink it. So what are the things that we can do? What do you do when you're having a bad day, a lemon, to turn it into lemonade and make it a better day? What are some things that you do? You eat a lot of candy? Is that what you said? I'm sorry, it's hard to hear with the mask. No, go ahead and just speak a little louder if you don't mind. No? Okay, sorry. What else what do you do when you have a bad day or a bad moment? Well, how do you turn it around? Sydney? You listen to your favorite songs, right? You throw a dance party. That's always fun. Anybody else? Go ahead. You sleep. Yeah, sometimes you just have to sleep it off, right? Yes. Good. Yep. Hang out with friends. Yeah, friends can definitely turn it around, especially if they make you laugh, right? Or sometimes if they listen to why maybe your moment or your day is a lemon. How about, yes? You talk about it, okay? Yeah, talk openly about it with somebody. You have to have that person or those people. Terrific. Anybody else? Anybody have pets? Go ahead. Did you have something that you wanted to say? No? Okay. Yes. Doing something you enjoy. What's something that you enjoy? Art? Okay. Yeah, I get lost in art. That's terrific. Did somebody else over here have their hand up? No? Okay. Yes. Say it again. Yeah, be sad if you want to. Sometimes you just have to take that moment and allow it to happen. Exactly. Some people like to play with their pets. Some people get lost in art. Some people grab a book and curl up with that, or a movie, something like that. We all have different things. A couple things that I'd like to share are these things that I'm going to put up here are all things that you should do for yourself, but you can also offer to somebody else if you notice that they're having a bad day or that they're holding a lemon. So compassion, right? Just showing somebody that you care. Empathy, making sure that you are open and willing to listen to somebody else, right? So one of you said to talk to somebody, okay? Make sure that you're a good listener when somebody comes to you with their lemon. Take a break. Somebody said sleep, right? Sometimes you just have to crawl under the covers and pull them over your head and let it evolve. Patience. Remember I said that you have to offer these not only to yourself, but to other people. It really sometimes means taking a deep breath and then making sure you're a good listener, or offering a hand to somebody. Maybe it's 2 ears that you need to offer. Maybe it's a hug. Gratitude. Sometimes when we have a lemon in our hand, we start to think it's as heavy as the world, and we forget that there's a lot in our lives that we have to be grateful for. And sometimes when you shift your mindset to gratitude away from the lemon, it can really change it can turn that lemon into lemonade. Asking for help, which one of you mentioned? And then the last one that I have up here is help others. And I'm going to share another story with you. So when I was 39, I lost my mom. And my mom was my best friend. And she drove me crazy as a teenager, but at around 22, we turned the corner, and she became my biggest cheerleader and my biggest ally. And she passed away at 39, and Sydney was just 2 years old at that time. And I had to go into Philly a month after she passed away and give a presentation to the Hotel Association, because I do restaurant consulting. And I had to go in and give a presentation, and they put me on the agenda after Jay Scott, who is the father of Alex, who started Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation. Now, as you can imagine, I was not up to give that talk, and I certainly wasn't up to give that talk after Jay shared what Alex's Lemonade Stand was doing in terms of a full citywide lemonade stand with all the hotels in Philadelphia. There was not a dry eye in the room after he spoke. So it came my turn. They called me up to the podium, and I said, I can't do this. I said, what Jay just shared with all of you is so much more significant than what I'm about to tell you about my business. So I hope you're all okay with it, but I'm going to bow out. And of course, they were supportive. As I said, there was not a dry eye in the room. I came home, and I said to my family, I hope that someday I can take the grief, the lemon. It was the biggest lemon I had ever held in my life. I can do something with the grief I feel about my mom and do something to change the world, like Alex Scott, who was 4 years old. Isn't that incredible? At 4 years old, she had raised $1 million for pediatric cancer. And Sydney, who then was 2, piped up and said, I sell lemonade. And we looked at her quizzically, and she got mad, and she said, I sell lemonade. So we then started to sell lemonade in our community in Eagleview from the age of 2, and we just finished our 16th year, and we've raised about $250,000. Now, you're probably wondering, how does helping someone else, how does that turn your lemon into lemonade? I learned a lot of lessons by focusing outward and helping others. Those lessons being, oftentimes other people need more help than we do ourselves. Helping others feels really, really good. I saw how Sydney evolved from being a 2-year-old on my back or on my hip to now an almost 18-year-old who has trained probably 150 other kids. You probably recognize some of the kids in the pictures here, right? Ella Diaz is up there, Mrs. Diaz, who is here. We've brought a lot of people into the fold to help with this cause, and everybody gets something out of it. So it feels really good to be standing where we're standing now, and one thing I know for sure, my mom is looking down and smiling on us because we've made a difference. And we've made a difference helping others, and we've helped ourselves in return. So, my advice to you, you all have a lemon, right? You're leaving here with a lemon today. And I hope that when you look at that lemon, you'll think about the size of it and how big and how heavy does it feel, and how can I then take that and turn it into lemonade. Or if you see one of your classmates or a family member or a friend who's having a lemon day or a lemon moment, that you'll think of ways that you can then help turn their day around. Because I think the best advice ever is, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. So thank you very much for having me this morning. I hope you all have a great day. Take care.